Okay, so we are here with Mr. Chip Brewer from, he's the CEO of Callaway Golf. Welcome, Mr. Brewer. How are you today?
I'm great, Nick. Good to hear from you, and thanks for the call.
Yeah, no problem. We appreciate you joining us here at college golf camps for a few minutes to talk about Callaway Golf and some of the new initiatives that you guys have going, and maybe you can get your perspective on junior golf and college golf and what's changed and kind of the direction it's going. So first off, Mr. Brewer, tell us a little bit about your playing background. Did you play junior golf? Did you play college golf? If so, where did you play?
Sure.
Things like that.
Sure. I was fortunate to play junior golf, both junior golf and college golf back in the dark ages, but with Persimmon golf clubs and well before junior golf has evolved to what it is today. But I played regionally in the Philadelphia area, had a little bit of success there, competed both at the regional and state level, won national event that I think actually might have been a precursor to the AJGA at that point, and this is back in the early 80s. But I fell in love with the game, played it, every day. It was in Philadelphia, so you couldn't play year-round, but when the snow was off the ground, I wanted to be on the golf course, playing with my friends, my buddies, my father, players of all abilities. If you could, get a competitive game, I was your guy, and just fell in love with it. Very much wanted to play college golf and also balance that with, a good school. Wasn't heavily recruited by any means, but had a couple schools that showed a little bit of interest. One of them was in Chicago, Northwestern, which was very flattering. It was back before they really or anywhere, they were just starting their program. And I can remember they flew me up there in February. And as you can imagine, Philly boy going to Chicago in February, it was quite cold. And, the wind's coming off the lake, there's snow on the ground, and they were, talking about, starting a program, and I'm shivering. And I had just been on some recruiting trips and college visits down in the North Carolina way and in Virginia and such. And, I elected to go south and take a chance at my hand down there. I actually went to Duke and played at Duke for a year, and was on the team for the first year, in and out of the lineup. I transferred after my first year to William & Mary, where I could absolutely, excel, I thought, in golf, and excel as a relative term. To me, that meant I was number 2 or 3 man, but regularly traveled and also, balance a social life and the academic requirements. Because college golf, as you well know, Nick, is quite demanding. It is now, and it was then. You miss more classes playing golf than any other sport. And, we would take vans for all of our trips and, be leaving Wednesday or Thursday and back late Sunday night. And you do that both fall and spring. So great experience there at William & Mary, where I, played and had a wonderful, college experience. I was decidedly mediocre. I never won a college event. I think I finished maybe second or third in a single event. We had one really good player who was a Walker Cupper for Ireland on the team, and the rest of us, if we had a good day, shoot in the, mid-70s. So, it wasn't top level, but it was something that I absolutely loved, and really glad I got that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of similarities, from when you played then to even to today, in terms of the demands of the academics and the travel, and I don't think, at least from our perspective, I don't think people realize how often or how challenging being a college student athlete can be, where there's a lot of good to it, but there's a lot of challenge to it in terms of, you got your academic load, and then you probably, it's probably a 50, 60, 70-hour work week in terms of an additional job.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great opportunity and blessing, but it takes a lot of discipline and, planning, et cetera. And if you're not disciplined, then, you can get into a situation you don't want to be in. Because only a small fraction are going to get out of school and play golf for a living. But the opportunity to, continue to enjoy competitive golf on a collegiate level, that's a wonderful opportunity. The teamwork, camaraderie, the, exposure to the game, but it's not without its sacrifices. And the only way to really balance that all out is with discipline and planning.
That's good advice. Kind of staying on that topic, obviously a lot has changed with junior golf since you played, and over the last couple of decades, obviously. What are some of the things that you really like that has changed, and maybe what are some of the things that has changed that maybe you don't necessarily dislike and aren't necessarily bad, but maybe some things that are not as captured, if you will, back from when you played?
Yeah, I love most of the ways that junior golf is evolving. There's so many strong organizations, from college golf camps, the organization you've started, Nick, to, so many different, tours. We're involved with several of them locally, but, Future Champions and San Diego Junior Golf. And so the opportunity to play junior golf and do it at different levels across the country has, really picked up. And, the Junior Leagues program that the PGA of America has, helped grow and is growing on a national. I love those things. And, there's never been a better time to be a junior golfer than today. On the downside, and it's so competitive at times that you really, you see people feeling like they need to specialize or focus exclusively on a sport, at very young ages. And, I think that's a bit of a mixed blessing. I absolutely understand the tension to do that, but I also would love to see juniors continue to play other sports and let golf develop at a little bit of its own pace. I think they'll be more well-rounded and better off in the long run if they can resist the temptation to focus too early. But that's hard. Yeah, I understand that's hard to do in today's world, and it's changed so quickly. I mean, even now, it's if you're at the top levels, it can be a full-time job, and it requires a team, from parents to teachers to trainers, etc. To optimize at that level. And the equipment manufacturers are, increasingly part of that answer. But you know what? Running and jumping and shooting baskets and everything else is a good thing as well. So to the degree you can, my counsel is to keep balance as long as possible.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, before we got on the call here, you were talking about how golf when you were a kid was much more of a regional game, and today it's much more of a national, national game, even an international game at junior golf. And and how to keep that, that three-letter word that's so important in any sport, but, the joy of playing golf and keeping that joy as the focus while competing and not, like you said, not over-challenging or getting too critical or too serious too soon.
Yeah, it's hard to do, but I strongly believe it's the right answer. So you really do need to kind of continue to remind yourself of that, and you need people around you that also help you with that balance.
Yeah. So for the most part, it sounds like you like the direction that junior golf is going, and kind of the different organizations from PGA Junior Golf to Future Champions to US Kids. You like the direction that. And then
how can you not? There's so much more attention. There's so much more opportunity. And although the top level has gotten hyper competitive, there are other levels for, golfers and athletes to participate in. You don't have to only do that international and national level. You can have regional success and still have a great career in front of you. And what we want is to build more golfers and people that love golf. If they develop into the next, Phil Mickelson, so be it. But we don't want them to feel like failures if that doesn't happen either.
Right. You pump that balloon full of expectations, and then when that balloon pops, hopefully there's not too big of a letdown with the emphasis on golf and missing out on the joy or academics or whatever it might be.
Because I'm the same way, Nick. When I was a kid, I dreamt about being a, professional golfer. And, it didn't happen, and I came to that realization, in college. I can remember, going to, scrimmages and qualifiers and events, and, my era, Davis Love, Billy Andrade, Scott Verplank, they were so much better than me, it was ridiculous. So you kind of come to that conclusion. But I also cherish that opportunity to fallen in love with golf, and I still play, all the time. I'm still a 2 handicap. I am, good around the club. It's helped me from a career perspective. Obviously, I'm building my career in the industry, but even if I didn't, the gift of golf and the passion that comes with it would have been helpful from a career perspective, as well as just a great, hobby and sport for me to decompress on, I guess. It gives me something else to be passionate about. So that's the ultimate gift here, whether it ends up in PGA Tour or not.
Yeah. Well, that's some excellent feedback for, anybody who's listening to junior golfers. That, even I, Mr. Brewer, I was talking to a friend of mine who is a very, very successful CEO. He's retired now, and he said, Nick, I did way more business on the golf course than I ever did sitting behind my desk in an office.
Right, absolutely. It's one-on-one. What a great opportunity to go out and spend some time together. You learn so much about each other, and it is a game you can play for a lifetime. So, yeah, great stuff.
Well, continuing on, talk about Callaway. I mean, Callaway is just such a neat, cool brand. It seems like you guys are always thinking outside the box with different initiatives and equipment and projects, and you just have so many people that are talented working for you, like Harry and Jay and Tim and those guys. So it's kind of like staring at a bug on a light, if you will. You guys just make such a great brand and awareness, especially in junior golf, it seems like. So tell us a little bit about, you guys launched this Chrome Soft golf ball last year. Tell us a little bit about that and how that's how that's going, and it's obviously been a tremendously successful project.
Yeah, it really has. It's one of the most fun projects we've had since I've been here, and golf balls are such a challenging category because, it's very hard to differentiate between, various golf balls from manufacturers. And the Chrome Soft product was a outbirth of a research project that the R&D team did on core chemistry. And they were looking to make a soft golf ball because it felt better, but they were able to develop a formulation that created a softer golf ball that also maintained speed. And the result is a product that's truly differentiated in the marketplace. So it's a product that is going to be better for most golfers because they'll be able to compress the ball, if you would, on all of their shots. It'll feel better. It'll spin, as well, if not better, around the greens, and it'll go further for most players due to the soft fast core technology. So really kind of a great breakthrough product that really came about with us looking at doing things differently. Instead of just doing the same thing the same old way and making these 100 compression golf balls that virtually everybody else makes and handing them to tour players, what if we took a different tack and looked at making this ball feel better and solve through a chemistry approach the speed part of it as well. And that's what Chrome Soft is. And now we've got a new version out for this year that we worked with our tour players over the last year, and we had probably 4 or 5 different prototypes throughout the last year, 2015, to come up with Chrome Soft 16, which is, an ultimate refinement on that product. It changed, again, some construction technology, and I won't bore you with the technical side of it, but it improved the overall consistency, improved the ball speed by retaining all of the great properties and feel, etc., that you like in the ball. So if you haven't hit it, you'll never felt anything as good as this ball. Nick, I don't know whether you have date back like I do, but I played a ball that was a wound golf ball and had balata cover. And this thing feels like balata, which is the best feeling golf ball you've ever played, but performs like a modern era golf ball, which is just a great combination.
Well, I tell you what, the feedback that we've received, of course, I've played them, which I'm not a very good player, but more importantly, we do a thing at our camps called the Callaway Chrome Soft Par 3 Challenge. And so we have all the kids at camp play the Callaway Chrome Soft during the Par 3 Challenge, and the feedback after that 9-hole stretch is just great. I mean, the kids, of course, they all want to play a certain ball, but when you hand them a ball and say, hey, you need to play this one for the next 9 holes, and of course it's all short game stuff, the feedback from the juniors on that has just been really, really, really good. So it's been encouraging to hear.
Yeah, we test this product, and one of the measures we use to evaluate consumer reaction is called a Net Promoter Score. And the Net Promoter Score is how many, you ask people how likely they are to recommend it to a friend. And if they answer 8 or above, 8, 9, or 10 out of 10, likely to recommend it, then they're a promoter. Other than that, they're either neutral or detractor. And, this thing had the highest Net Promoter Score of in the mid-70s than any product we've ever tested.
That's great. That's great. Well, you guys obviously do some great stuff. Thinking outside the box. I mean, obviously you got some great tour players on your guys' staff. Obviously, Phil Mickelson's the biggest one, but obviously Lydia Ko on the women's side. I mean, what an amazing talent she is. And of course, the player that seems to keep coming around and is fun to watch is Danny Lee. And so between Danny and Lydia, both younger players. What do you think makes them, gritty players, if you will?
I'm not sure what that formula is, but you picked two great ones there in different ways. Lydia has been a child prodigy uh, her whole life, which is, she's all of 18 now. So
Right.
she um, got good early. She has a wonderful attitude. She's obviously got incredible skills, but her attitude and confidence, even when she doesn't do well, she's still believes in herself, and it really makes a difference. Danny burst on the scene. He won the U.S. Amateur as a very young man, but then struggled a little bit. And, he kept his tour card, but just barely. And then has really come into his own these last few years as he's matured and grown into, a world-class player. And it's interesting. They're both very happy people if you're around them. They're fun to be around. They're charismatic. Danny is one of the funniest guys I've ever met. He's constantly kidding and having fun. He just enjoys what he does. So you talked earlier about the joy of golf. These two have that, and they haven't forgotten how blessed they are to have the opportunity that they do. But they are wonderful young players who have come up in a little bit different way, but both with attitude, I think, being a key attribute of their success.
Mm-hmm. Well, and to kind of wrap things up, we appreciate your time being with us, Mr. Brewer. So wrapping things up, it sounds like you guys have some, different exciting things going on, obviously with Callaway in general, but specifically with junior golf. And is there anything that you want to talk about, going into 2016 in the spring here with 16 with Callaway and junior golf and kind of some of your guys' initiatives or focuses?
Yeah, we're increasingly getting involved in supporting junior golf and making sure Callaway's front and center with junior golfers. You talked about the transformation of the brand over the last few years and the youth and the energy associated with it, and I think that's clearly helpful. We've formed some nice partnerships recently. Future Champions Golf, which I mentioned, we're a equipment sponsor there. It's a key relationship. That tour is continuing to grow. We're also announced recently a partnership with the AJGA, and we'll be sponsoring a couple events there and
Great.
getting more involved with that organization. So, supporting junior golf and, some key players within the junior golf community is important for Callaway, and, we're looking forward to continuing to grow our role there going forward.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Brewer, we sure appreciate you taking time out of your day. We know that you're a busy man, and we look forward to seeing what Callaway is going to do this year with some different plans, and specifically, obviously, junior golf with us, because that's what the world we live in. So,
yeah, absolutely,
Mr. Brewer,
Nick. And, we really appreciate what you're doing for all the juniors, and it's a pleasure being associated with you.
Awesome. Well, hey, you have a great day, and again, thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Bye.